Hey, 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 Fit Mama. Jen Oliver here, your host of the Fit Mama podcast. This is the work in to your workout. Hey, and welcome to today's episode called What Are You Willing to Give Up? I'm going to share a little bit of the things that I've been inspired by lately. And one of those things is really getting down deep with women, with fit mamas, just like yourself, and digging in so deeply to see how much they really want something. How much do you really want? The goals that you're setting for yourself or the things that you're intending for your day, how much do you really want them? And I want to get serious here for a few minutes and ask you, is it important enough? And we've talked about this a while, a lot about, is it borrowed goals that you're wanting? Is it superficial goals that you're wanting? And these things just don't keep you occupied. They don't keep you interested. They don't keep you doing the things that are required to meet the goal. They aren't enough motivation. If it's someone else's goal for you, or if it's someone else's goal for themselves that you think seems like a good idea, it is not going to pan out for you. And when it does, and when you reach that goal, this is not going to feel that good because it's not something you really want. So I want you to get really serious with yourself about these goals that you have for yourself. Because we may not even realize that we have goals, that we're setting goals for ourselves, because maybe we're not actively doing it. But if we're spending time, and if you're saying things like, I have to go to the gym, or I really want to work out more, right? These are things that you are telling yourself that you want, that you desire, that you would like to incorporate in your life. But if you keep seeing them as not really happening in the way that you want them to happen, that's something to look at. Because I truly don't believe that you can't achieve anything that you want. In fact, I know that you can achieve anything that you want. I know that for a fact. So if the things that you are desiring or the things that you're working towards are not looking like you thought they would, this is the time to ask yourself, what am I willing to give up? What's got to change? Because going through the motions day in and day out will make your life feel like Groundhog Day. You know that feeling when you don't even want to go to sleep at night because you have to wake up and just do it all over again? That is not a good feeling. And sometimes we think that it's really hard to do things differently. And you know what? It is. It is really hard because the reason why we go through the motions and the reason why we do so many of the behaviors that we do is just because we've always been doing them. It's just a repetition. It's just a pattern. It's just a bad habit. Hitting snooze and skipping the gym, or sleeping through the time you wanted to work out, or not setting your clothes out the night before so you can't be prepared and then it seems so overwhelming and exhausting. How can you set yourself up for success? Well, for one, it's asking yourself, what are you willing to give up? Because if you're willing to give up this one thing, then you are on your path and you will achieve anything that you set yourself towards. But if you aren't ready to give up this one thing that I'm about to tell you that is a game changer, then you are probably just going to keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, which we know the coined Albert Einstein term of definition of insanity. So ask yourself this, rather than feeling like you're literally living Groundhog Day or the definition of insanity, ask yourself, am I willing, even if just for a week, am I willing, even if just for a day, am I willing, possibly for a month or 6 months or a year, am I willing to give up being comfortable? Yes, I said it. Being comfortable. Even the word feels like I'm snuggling in a blanket. And I love to be comfortable and I love to snuggle in blankets. So I get it. And I have, just as you have, probably built up many, many, many habits over the course of my life that I'm not particularly proud of. For example, as I mentioned in a previous episode, of biting my nails, right? Biting my nails is just part of my life. I don't realize I'm doing it. I just do it. I do it more when I'm stressed or trying to concentrate or bored or whatever. I don't even know when I really do it, but I have given it up by getting my fake nails on top. So that's allowed me to say, okay, I'm giving up this habit and I'm going to do things differently. And so now I can look at my nails and feel gratitude for them instead of bleeding pain, because I said, I'm going to do something to change this, because I don't seem to be able to just stop, right? And that's the thing about habits. It's like we're either starting one or stopping one. And I put a little post out on Facebook the other day, and I got a lot of answers to the question that I asked: did you ever try and start something or quit something? And which was harder? And the majority of people said stopping something. So whether it was stopping smoking or stopping to eat sugar, stopping to eat at night before they go to bed, because it's their routine, right? It's every morning I wake up and I eat this for breakfast, or I have this coffee with a ton of sugar on my way to work. And that's my routine, and I love it. And I hate my job, and I'm stressed, and I'm exhausted, and I deserve it. And mama, beautiful, loving, fit mama, you do deserve all that you ever wanted and more. But the way to get all that you ever wanted and more isn't through a sugary coffee. It isn't through a cigarette. It isn't through binge eating at night because you don't want to go to sleep and relive Groundhog Day. It simply isn't found there. And when we can start to realize that we've got to do something different, even if it's the most uncomfortable thing we may do, something's got to be different. So I had the honor and the privilege to go to an event this past weekend called the Archangel Summit. If you haven't been, I highly recommend it. And check it out. You can check the hashtag Archangel Summit. And it is really quite a phenomenal event. There's incredible speakers, and the vibration and frequency of love and high vibes of possibility and imagination and play and everything that I desire in my life to have more of is enjoying life, is not stuck and being stuck constantly in the minutia of the day-to-day, just going through those motions, just repeating over and over the same things that you did yesterday. Because those same things that you did yesterday are on autopilot, and you're thinking the same thoughts on autopilot. You're doing those same behaviors. You're taking those actions that you did yesterday and saying the same things to the people around you every day, looking in the mirror, saying the same things to yourself every day. Self-talk over and over, just saying to yourself, oh, I have to change this. Oh, I have to do this differently. Oh, she's annoying. Oh, I'm never going to get this. Oh, that's just too hard. And when you notice yourself getting stuck in these old mental patterns, it's time to make a change. So where do you start? Where does anyone start? And I know if you've been following this for a while, you know the pillars of the FitMama foundations, and you know how important these daily activities are, if you will, activities. So these foundations that I really have found through the literature and my experience with clients and myself, that these 7 pillars are game changers. And if you can honor yourself by diving into what's really best for you in each of these pillars. And you can go back and watch those episodes at the beginning of the FitMama podcast. And if you are just joining us today, thank you and welcome. It's incredible to see new people joining every week, listening to this podcast from around the world. And you are in some incredible company, FitMama. There are FitMamas just like you, wanting the same things you do all over the world. And you can connect with them in our Facebook group. So just head over to Facebook and search under groups Love FitMama, and you will find our FitMama Facebook group where we're hanging out, and there's a lot of like-minded people. Today we were talking about juicing, we were talking about pelvic floor, we were talking about core, we were talking about play and exercise and what that is when you can mix the two together. And that is a beautiful thing. So absolutely join a tribe of people who you feel connected to, who you feel supported by. Because one of the pitfalls that I see a lot with Fit Mamas is the company they keep. Whether they're hanging out with negative Nancy's or people who just don't see things the same way they do, it's really demoralizing when you're wanting things to be different, you're wanting to do things differently, you're wanting to experience life in a different way. And the people around you that you spend time with just keep reinforcing that old you that did the things or didn't do the things that you do or don't want to do. And people treat us how we treat ourselves. And so often I've seen and I've worked with so many Fit Mamas that this has been at the core of the issue. My partner, husband, spouse, fiance, roommate, mom, dad, kids, whomever is stopping me from fill in the blank. And if you notice yourself placing any kind of blame on others, that's the time to really say, hey, wow, great. This is an opportunity to see where I can take responsibility and decide what I am willing to give up. And if I'm willing to give up, accepting that this is the way it's going to be. And this is what happens. It kind of becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy, right? We say, I'm going to start this diet or this exercise or this new thing, or I'm going to start meditating, or I'm going to be nicer and happier, or wake up earlier, or whatever. I'm going to start that tomorrow. I'm going to start that Monday, whatever. And then Monday rolls around and something happens and we don't start. And so we start to actually, instead of starting, we tend to stop trusting ourselves. And those around us stop trusting us. So when you say to your husband, I'm going to get up in the morning and go for a run, or I'm going to get up in the morning and go for a walk and listen to a podcast and just feel calm, instead of starting my day in reaction mode and going crazy all before I've had my first pee, right? If you can say to yourself, I'm going to do something different, right? Because how often have you said before that you were going to do that and then you didn't? And then your husband or wife or whomever said to themselves, oh yeah, she's just saying that. She's not really going to do it. So they then expect that you're not going to do it. So they then lose a certain level of trust and respect in you, just like you just did in yourself. And this is really one of those things that ends up being at the crux of what's really going on. And when people are not having the results or not achieving the results of that they're working towards, that is usually the barrier, is that you've eroded the trust and the respect that you have for yourself, for self-care, for self-monitoring, for taking care of yourself in any kind of way. Even if you're just thinking, I want to make sure that I shower every day, or I want to make sure that I wash my face and have a nice nighttime routine for my oral hygiene and my skin. That kind of thing is a great place to start, because starting a new gym routine or getting out of the house and all these kinds of things feels overwhelming. So first thing we have to give up is the excuses, because no matter what circumstance you're in, I know that you have the means, that you have the capacity, that you have the support, that you have the opportunity to do the things necessary to reach your goals. I know that. And if you think that there is something different that I don't know, please call me out on it. Please contact me. Send me a DM on Instagram at LoveJenOliver, because I would like to hear from you. I really would. I would love to hear that you absolutely can't find a way to make what you want happen, because I happen to have a very certain superpower that will be able to cut through any of that. And I'm actually hosting a retreat really soon, October 12th to 14th, just north of Toronto, with a beautiful, brilliant woman named Bree Stedman from Australia. And she wrote a book called Own Your BS. And this retreat is called Own Your Core BS. And it's pretty awesome. We've designed an incredible weekend where we're going to just allow women to own their BS, to realize that if they can be willing to give up that old way of thinking and being, that old way that made up excuses every day, that old way that used yourself against yourself, it's beautiful, the results that come from this. And Bree has done her methods, and she does a thing called Creatrix, which uses the female brain as a technology to actually break through this pattern that we have. Because so much of what we do, and I was actually sharing this with my husband last night, 20% of what we do in a day is conscious. 80% is subconscious. I know, it's kind of crazy. So consciously, we're okay thinking, what am I going to make for dinner? But then subconsciously, we just go into the mode of, I'll throw this together, the same old thing, right? So consciously, we say, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z tomorrow or today. And then subconsciously, 80% takes over and says, you're not going to do that. You didn't do that last time. You're not going to do it this time. Remember that last time when you hurt yourself? Don't do it. Don't even start. It's not going to work. You're too far gone. And when that little BS voice comes into your head over and over and just erodes the trust and self-love that you have for you, why do you think that things aren't getting done, or that things aren't reaching to the point that you want them to as fast as they can? Or why do you think that you keep dropping back in those old habits? Because the subconscious mind is the body. It's that body just going through the motions. It's just doing what it always did. And if we don't do something different, nothing is going to change. So at this summit, there was an incredible, unbelievably inspiring monk who presented. And if you want to find him online, his name is Dandapani. You can go to dandapani.org, and I'm going to actually add that in the show notes, because what he taught was something so incredible. It was something so incredible. It was something so profound. And it was so simple. And it made everything seem so like, oh, okay, yes, right? So it was the way that he explained the mind versus awareness. Okay, so I'm going to explain this to you as best I can. But really, I would love for you to seek him out and find out more about him. But this is really kind of the basic synopsis of what he was saying. Okay, so we have the mind and we have awareness. Okay, the mind is kind of like a big mansion, let's say. I don't know what he used, but let's just say it's a mansion. Okay, I'm going to use that analogy of mansion. I don't think that was his, but this is how I got it. So your mind is a mansion. And you have all these different rooms in the mansion. You have one room which is anger. You have one room which is happiness. You have one room which is love. You have one room which is gratitude. You have one room which is unhappiness. You have one room which is rage. You have one room which is pissed off, whatever. Okay, so picture your mansion, which is your mind. Okay, so your mind is just all these different rooms. Okay, metaphorically speaking, of course. This is not neuroscience, this is the mind and awareness. So you have all these different areas, let's say, and your awareness is like the illumination or the presence in that room. So let's take it that you are waking up in the morning. You wake up and first you enter into the room of unhappiness because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. And maybe it's the room of tired and you're hanging out there for a bit saying, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, another day. Oh, I have all these things to do and I just want to sleep, or when am I going to get that nap, or how am I going to get that coffee in, or whatever. So you hang out for a minute or two, 3, 5 in the room of tired. And that's where your awareness is. Then your kids come jumping on your bed and you are in the awareness of the room of love. And you're snuggling and you're kissing and you're hugging and you're chatting and you're talking about their sleep and their dreams and all the good stuff. And you just spent 10 minutes in that room filled with love because your awareness was there. That was what was in front of you and you were paying attention to it. I like to think of awareness as what you're paying attention to. Okay, so the mind itself is just this mansion. And then your awareness is what you're paying attention to. And at any given time, you actually do have conscious choice as to what you pay attention to. But so often we're in this reactive mode, right? And he really pointed that out. And I realized that that's exactly what's happening for most of us. And through the advent of social media and through us being more busy and distracted and doing 50 million tasks and things in one day, we jump around to these rooms, but they're in reactive mode. And it's not that often that in the middle of a long workday, someone comes and brings us news that will put us in the love and self-love and happiness and joy and gratitude rooms. Most of the day is spent putting out fires, worrying about this, thinking about that, planning, organizing, hanging out in all these rooms that are not filling you up. And your awareness is on these things that you don't even want to be paying attention to. I don't want to be worrying. I don't want to be thinking about all the things I have to do. That's a waste of mental energy. It's a waste of emotional energy. It's a waste of physical energy. It's just a waste. So knowing this little analogy, I want you to imagine your mind, the mansion. And I want you to imagine your awareness, what you're paying attention to all day, in every minute. Because the thing is, we're so distracted, we don't even know what we're paying attention to. And we just go and bounce from one room to another. And they aren't the rooms that we really want to be hanging out in. We really aren't wanting to be there. So it requires this constant awareness that you want to notice what you're focusing on. So it takes time. I've been doing this for, I would say, since 2006. I started actually, no, I won't even give myself 2006. 2007 was really a turning point for me. 2006, I was, I think, hitting rock bottom to the point where I realized my awareness needed to be somewhere else. And looking back now, it was this FitMama journey that began in 2007 by this specific thing. And it's funny that he talked about willpower in his talk. He talked about willpower and concentration. And in his talk, he was specifically talking about willpower, which I started my master's degree in 2007 when I started reading and reading and reading everything from all my texts at school to spiritual texts and personal development texts and growth and mind and business and Think and Grow Rich and all the rest of the things for entrepreneurs and business growth and all the good stuff. And what I realized is that what I started doing was exactly what he recommended that we start doing. So that was a big thumbs up to me. And I'm going to share this with you because I didn't even realize that this is what I was doing. And so him voicing this has really allowed me to actually verbalize what it is that I am helping people with, because we actually do this with our coaching. And when I'm talking to the FitMama on the phone that I'm speaking to, it's creating that awareness, that what you're paying attention to throughout the day. Because often we notice things that are negative, right? Oh my God, I'm in pain. Oh, my toe hurts. Oh, my finger hurts. Oh, my back hurts. Oh, my this, right? And we aren't even allowing ourselves to choose a different path. And so one of the things that I do is that when I become aware that I'm hanging out in a room I don't want to be in, I immediately switch to a different room. And my room, my go-to room, if you will, which I realize this, now I have words for it, my go-to room when I want to get out of the other room, whether it's negative or just a room I don't want to be in, is gratitude. And it's these two simple words that you will always hear me talk about. It's thank you, thank you, thank you. Those words bring you immediately into gratitude and immediately will feel a complete shift in your energy. So if you're hanging out in the morning and you're brushing your teeth and you're thinking, oh, I have all these things to do, and oh my God, I'm rushing, and I'm feeling like I didn't get to the gym, and when am I going to fit it in? And I don't think I'm going to, and then this came up and I have to take care of that person. And all of a sudden you're in the room of rushing or dis-ease with everything that's going on. So if you notice you're in that room, you can say to yourself, hey, out loud, you can stop yourself. One of the things I have people do all the time is put their hand on their heart, because it's an actual physical movement. It's a change in your physical body, which has an effect on your mental, emotional body. So if you are stuck in that room you don't want to be in, I highly recommend you can adopt this. And this is my method. This is not Dan Dipandi anymore. This is not Dan Depani anymore. I've been pronouncing his name wrong, so hopefully I get it right. Dan Depani. This man is incredible, and I'm his newest, biggest fan. He talks about this, and then I'm going to give you my method for doing this. He talks about bringing awareness and bringing focus and concentration and paying attention to your non-negotiable daily occurrences. Because these are opportunities to do things differently. So what he means by non-negotiable daily occurrences are things like washing the dishes, cleaning your house, brushing your teeth, washing your face, having a shower, hanging out with your spouse, hanging out with your kids, working, on and on. These non-negotiables, these are things you do every day. These are things that are part of your day. getting out of bed in the morning, brushing your hair, whatever. Think about your non-negotiable daily occurrences and start to bring awareness to them. Because these are the things that you do subconsciously. These are the things you do, you just go through the motions. So you have an opportunity here with multiple things in your day, which actually you don't realize how many of these things that you do every day without even thinking make up most of your day. So take the opportunity to start to become aware during these non-negotiable daily occurrences. So while you're standing there washing the dishes, notice that you're thinking, oh, I still have all this stuff to do, and I have to get the kids there, and I don't have enough time, and I didn't get the groceries, and I have to pack for that trip, and blah, 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 blah. And when you notice it, this is my gift to you right now, because this is what has helped me for the last number of years. Naturally, this is what I came to help me out of that funk, which is being in rooms you don't want to be in. It's this. The minute you become aware that, oh my gosh, I'm hanging out in this room I don't want to be in, this is it. Put your hand on your heart. Repeat the words, thank you, 3 times. And if you want to attach something that you're thankful for, so for example, if I'm washing the dishes and I'm freaking out about all the stuff, and I put my hand on my heart, and I say, thank you that I have warm water to wash my dishes. Thank you that my kids are safely playing in the room next door. Thank you that I have a roof over my head protecting me from the cold and wind outside. And take big, deep breath, inhaling and exhaling, and choose the room you want to be in next. And the gratitude room is like the room you just want to hang out in all day. That's like your woman cave. That's your FitMama spot. Think of your favorite room in your house, or imagine a room you could create in your house that would be everything you ever dreamed of and more. How great and how comfortable would you be in that room? Because it's the room you really want to be in. And when you start to notice the power that the words thank you and the room gratitude brings to your life, you absolutely will notice a change in your life. Absolutely. So take those times daily, day in and day out, and notice, create that awareness of what you're paying attention to, and change it if it's something you don't want to create more of in your life. Because where your awareness goes, your energy flows. And Dandapani brought that up, and it was so right, true, on point, and it was a good reminder that absolutely you can focus on the things that stress you out. And if you even take my TEDx talk, How to Love Yourself to the Core, for example, I talk about that moment when someone offers you a piece of chocolate cake and you either go, oh no, I shouldn't, and you feel guilt and shame, resistance, unhappiness, or you can choose positivity and either say no thank you with a smile on your face without having to defend why, or have the piece of cake and enjoy every bite. Every bite. Yes, enjoy it. You got to watch the talk if you haven't watched it yet, because it is going to remind you to enjoy yourself, love yourself, respect yourself, trust yourself, and decide that you are willing to give up that old way of excuses, hanging out in rooms you don't want to be hanging out in, succumbing to everyone else's needs and on a whim helping everybody and forgetting you. You deserve better, FitMama. And I know that through doing this simple action of hand on your heart, if you're washing the dishes and your hands are wet, don't put your hand on your heart. It doesn't matter. But bring your awareness to your heart and imagine with your body and mind things that you are grateful for. Embody them, feel them. Feel the true gratitude and how thankful you are that you have children, or that you don't have children if you don't want them, or that you have a warm place to sleep. Anything that you can find, because there are things all around you that you can be grateful for in any moment. So I used to do this probably 100 times a day, and the deep breath really helps actually calm the nervous system. And this is this thing, a simple method that I still use every single day at least once. So I really encourage you to try, and I would love to hear how it's going. So send me a message on Facebook, Jen Oliver. I would love to hear from you, and I would love to connect. So I look forward to connecting with you, and I want to ask you one more time, what are you willing to give up? Give up being comfortable in the room of anger, boredom, stuckness, excuses, and go crazy wild in the room of gratitude and see how your behavior changes there. Such a great time talking with you today. FitMama, have a fabulous day. Namaste.